Vincent, it does look like we are getting into our first match of the Scholastic Champs. It's going to be a fun one, a best one to begin. New Albany versus East Kentwood, like what Marty was hinting into, as we are heading into Ascent.
Yeah, and listen, a map that, let's be real, we all expected to be seeing, especially coming into best of ones. I am pumped to get it started. By the way, referring to how things were done with regard to seeding, it's pretty easy. Average player rank across the entirety of your team. Highest average rank, highest seed. Pretty darn simple. All of these teams coming into today, I mean, they're champions for a reason. They pretty much going between a single loss and no losses on the entirety of the season, Seymour. So yeah. I think we have a pretty awesome roster to get things started. This is actually 4th and 5th seed. So to jump into here, I'm not seeing anything too crazy, at least not yet.
I mean, just wait till it gets locked in. I'm seeing a Yoru get hovered. That's a little crazy. And it gets locked in. All right. Okay. That's going to be an interesting thing to, I guess, decipher as we're watching into Ascend. We don't normally see Yorus on this map. Maybe a Phoenix, but even that is crazy in its own right.
That's 2021 behavior as a Phoenix. Come on now. I'll be honest, I think Yoru is actually quite good right now. It's just a matter of finding the space to use him correctly. That can be the difficult part, and we see even at the highest level, there are like a lot of teams that want to experiment, but sometimes it can be difficult. But I love to see some going for it and taking a less meta composition and rolling with it.
It's not even just the Yoru. They're going for the double duelist composition on Ascend, which is not something, many teams can pull off. The fact that they're starting off with attack means that they want to end on defense with this double duelist composition, which is, I feel like it might be a little bit more difficult, by the second half than it is than what we're going to be seeing in this first half, Vincent. But it's all going to really come down to what they can accomplish with this Yoru.
Indeed. I'm curious to see how it gets set up, because the reality is there's a lot of little bait plays that can happen regarding this type of composition. But I also think it's important to talk generally about what the meta looks like here, and not having a KO, I think, is also a big deal. We'll see how big a deal that becomes as we jump into this first round and get things started.
If Sam can't find some information, open up with some value, maybe on a pick or their damage, just getting some utility out of these hands, it's just going to make this execute a whole lot harder, especially considering this pistol round Ether tucked away inside wine. Will they check it? Nobody has their eyes on. Spots the barrel. The gun. 2 quick kills. A spike. And the ghost rings out for a quick 3. Ether decides he wants to kick off the Scholastic Champs with a big 3K.
Yeah, that's fully spiked down, unrecoverable position as well, and Jaden's just going to do their best to walk through, but tag down heavily in addition to that. Defense of that spike important, and the ace on the cards.
And the ace stolen away by Salmon, so no ace for Ether to begin, but 4 kills in round 1 with a cheeky setup in towards wine. I mean, that is an angle that, 9 times out of 10 needs to be cleared.
Yeah, no utility being popped into there. But to be fair, didn't have an opportunity to do that. So I'm thinking into this next round, more than likely not going to see too much from the attack side to get things rolling. I'm seeing classics for the most part. There's a sheriff in there. You know how I enjoy some sheriff maneuvering.
Yeah, you and I both. One tap city. Ether now over towards the Marshal. Marty, I love this setup, just in case, the Marshal gets overwhelmed. The Spectre's here to do a little bit of damage, mitigation, and as soon as the shot misses, you see the backup. Ether repositions, find the shot. The Sheriff back trades, but Marty now with the Spectre continue to Viking. So immediately, yet again, you see the immediate shutdown towards Catwalk this time.
And New Albany finding some success and continuing to do that here. Right clicks, but as unreasonable as those right clicks can be, don't think they're going to find too much there. Silent would love to get a spike down, and actually, that's going to happen. Seymour, how's he found this space to work with? Don't think there's any way they're going to get there in time. Yeah, extra little cash flow. Plus those couple of kills, I'd call that a success for East Kentwood.
It's definitely one that I feel like New Albany should not have let happen. You know, with that the three kills to kind of start things off, being in a 2 versus 4, it should have been cleaned up a lot quicker. But still, 2 rounds found out definitely weren't going to be the easiest when you look at this one. I mean, there's a reason that these two teams are heading into the Scholastic champs, and you know, respectfully, the 4th seed and the 5th seed, when you look down to an 8-team bracket, should be the closest in competition. And to already see in round number 3 or round number 2 a little bit of a fight back there from the team that is, you know, backed against the ropes, I feel like this is going to be a great map.
You know what's really important is reading, and we're both very bad at it. That is not Salmon, that is Samblin, and I can't read. Apologies. That'll happen. Yeah. You'll see. You'll see next time. We both just whoop, right over it. Right 2-0 start. Feels very nice, though, for New Albany. And so the Ohio squad will keep things slower paced, generally speaking, with some main control, but it's about to change.
Flash out Som. Lovely to find those two. Loses out on Zokernage. And, you know, you may be a duelist down, but still have this Yoru up. I feel like you can still look to be an issue here over towards A. You lose out on Madi, and that makes things even more uncomfortable on the A side. Bubs a Viking looking to hopefully pull some back, but lovely heads-up plays coming up from East Kentwood.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a way back in here. Samlin's going to try their best to do maybe some additional damage, but with only an Ares in hand, it's technically upgrades available. Yeah, Bulldog grabbed. Even then, do you want to hang on to this Bulldog long term? Well, not even a chance to do so. Som just with a nice blindside to start out that round. That's what served them up those 2 initial kills and gave them the man advantage ×2. Once that happens, the A site was theirs for the taking. And East Kentwood finally getting on the board after just the pistol and the anti-eco.
A very, very comfortable rifle round 2 after, you know, a little bit of a hiccup in round 2 coming out from New Albany. East Kentwood showing some promise, putting their first on the board. Op out for Ether, looking out from Catwalk. Jaden looking to dry peek this right into the possibility of that op just not being thought of so early on. What a cheeky thing to do.
I see the fake out, just walking forward. This not going to mean too much, but the dimensional drift absolutely will. Already no vision on what's going on in the site. We know it to be clear, but Muddy will get confirmation of that alongside Song.
Lovely paranoia, but Ether goes down, so there's the trade. Wall gets broken, Muddy finds 2. Spike suddenly out in the open, and East Kentwood in a position where they need to fight their way back out. Heron left high and dry on the inside of the A site, and Som TP's out, but they know this. Now they do. Som 1 versus 3. Low HP on Bubs the Viking, but Samlin will not let that kill go the way of East Kentwood. And New Albany, although they give up that round number 3, as soon as the rifles are in their hands, they strike back.
And it's really just a matter of moments, the difference between success and devastation there. If the spike goes down, East Kentwood can get into a post plant. They're going to be doing okay. No issue whatsoever. But because the spike gets denied, nobody can get into a post plant. Everybody has to try and fight for it in order to get back into that space. And making sure you have control of that door area as the attackers is something that East Kentwood going to have to keep an eye out for these next times as they take their approach towards A. Speaking of A, Blade Storm for Ether on this side of it.
Oh, flash out. Doesn't shoot the clone, and the bait back out, but still Ether lives. East Kentwood just kind of kept on their toes right now. They do get this Altor, but you still look at the pressure over towards B and as well as mid. You know, things not definitive just yet for East Kentwood.
Hey, every orb counts, to be fair, and getting additional ultimate utility available and online is certainly an important part of the game. As they take some space back out towards mid, there's a dark cover to allow them to work that deep mid angle. Not in trouble until Maudie puts one away at Cat.
Yeah. Jaden too. They know, but they don't know that Soccerage is going to just push right into A. The Bladestorm of Ether still lurking in and about. Pooley now waiting for the aggression. Not a catwalk, but with the spike in hands, everybody's just locked and loaded to push through this dark cover. Smoke goes down. Jaden's there, and that's the equalizer. Neural Theft's going to give away the positioning, and that's going to show that there's only one person to be, but they're not going to rotate. They're heading right into the Bladestorm. They know Ether's here, but can Ether stand up to the trouble? Jumping up, one knife left. Hit it. The stinger in the back pocket still won't make anything out of these kills. A lot of information for Samlin. Bob's the Viking gonna trade things. Spike getting planted. Heron not able to remove this KJ, but Silent's gonna make it a 2 versus 1. Odin in the ham of Samlin.
Hunter's Fury as well. Technically still there. Silent wanted to use it.
Oh, and the Odin just gets the job done. No need for the ultimate to get used, and a big clutch coming out from New Albany.
And that's going to really keep their opponents on the back foot. Where do you go there if you're East Kentwood? That was a round that you had on lockdown. Zo Carnage just walking out and finding a kill. Yeah, Bladestorm trades him out, but the free frags on Catwalk, so impactful. And yet still no success. The long-term, at least not round victories, they stay at just 1. As we get into the 6th round of this game. Looks like a change of pace potentially on the cards, as all but one of the members of East Kentwood are walking forward, looking towards B.
We haven't seen B just yet, and it seems like Ether's going to have this read. With the op in hand, the reposition is good for yet another first blood. Out of New Albany, East Kentwood just cannot find some stability in the start of these rounds. Holy, a couple nice one-taps. Spike is now down. They just continue to command this territory. Ether low on health, but not looking to give up their life just yet. A flawless round coming out. It was a thrifty buy for East Kentwood, so they're going to be able to buy up in the next.
Do like to see that, and here's even something I love to see more. It's a timeout. Maybe you could argue take this a little earlier, but there's still full half of this first half, if we're splitting halves into halves to play, with 6 more rounds to go. It's imperative that there's some space gathered for this Kentwood squad. I think that in general, they've had the right ideas. They've even had good positions, winning scenarios, but being able to close that out in an efficient or effective way has been where they haven't had so much success. And this round where they've got some tools to work with, Seymour, it's the Bladestorm. Granted, you might want to keep that for a lesser purchase, but Hunter's Fury as well. You can maybe use that aggressively or in a post plant to just seal the deal, to have that extra confirmation from a distance that you're able to deny on a diffuse or something of that nature.
They need to start understanding as well this op from Ether is already proving to be quite an issue in the start of these rounds. You know, you've seen kind of Soccerage like attempt to fight against this, but if you're not looking at, you know, Heron here smoking off these, you know, one-way angles from Ether to kind of peek on out, you know, trying to gain that space, gain a little bit of control of the map. Ether's just going to be able to have free reign here on this defense, and again, going to go for this peek out of A main. The decoy shot doesn't go, so Ether is playing this so well.
And just consistently swapping up the positioning and the position that they're playing aggressive, that too, making life even more difficult. And it's a bait and switch setup here.
Oh, Pooley doesn't even need to get baited. Ether still tucked to win, peeks out, Jaden down, Pooley back in, he goes, saw him now, down for the count. Samlin's going to get that ult orb, 1 away from this Hunter's Fury. As East Kentwood into these rifles, they finally get a little bit of an upgrade, but immediately get sent packing. Ether, no stone left unturned. Silent able to get at least 1 kill. A consolation, you might say, Vincent, but you need to start seeing a little bit more from this team.
Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle. Again, looking generally very intelligent about the way they're approaching rounds, but winning some of these individual gunfights early, and especially dealing with either just so important as, look at how much the ultimate economy is rolling in the direction of New Albany. They've got 5 of those ready to go and haven't even particularly needed them, but lockdown can be good to work if they need to retake a site, though that wasn't an issue in the previous round, and we're looking at another sort of half-buy required, sheriffs only. Maybe this is when the Blade Storm can come out.
Get out of my way.
There we go.
You're right. Blade Storm's gonna be out. Samlin didn't get pinged here, but instead a lot of information. Nice! Dash in. The tailwind from Zarkanich just takes control of the site, and that should be spike planted and an Odin recovered.
This is an absolute amazing way to get yourself back into this game. Down, sure, but not out, and the retake coming in. But there's a Hunter's Fury to deny this lockdown. Here it comes.
Yeah, there it is. Hunter's Fury should be able to destroy it, and it will, so it has to be the good old-fashioned way behind the rifles. The Dark Cover is blocking up a player lurking in and amongst New Albany, but Som has to make a play. The Sheriff finally going to be seen. Good for 2. 1 versus 2, however. Som not able to find that last shot. Madi puts away the Yoru. 2 players left alive. New Albany, albeit lockdown does get destroyed. They don't have that ultimate to get on site. Vincent, they don't need it. They just use their guns to overwhelm.
Yeah, and you saw a bit of a chess match in the post plant. And this is why it can be so dangerous, allowing for some of the ultimates to just get built up and just stay unused as well. Lockdown comes in, Hunter's Fury on the other side of that, and that's all well and good until the no command hits you, and you can't use anything else to try and play defense. Tough task right there for East Kentwood. Couldn't quite deliver. Back on the bye, and that's good news. Trying to stick together, play this aggressive, use no command of their own.
Bonnie Flash. Captain Bay is full control of this site. It's again going to have to be a retake here from New Albany. Hunter's Fury looking to at least stall out this spike from getting planted, and it works. Not only that, Samuelin's going to get the kill. So Zarkanich now has to put the spike in the ground as quick as possible. Set up inside of Hell, but a player down. This is going to be even harder. Aldrone looking for that info. Jaden still providing a little bit off this camera. Ether's going to be able to be spotted here. Som and Heron going to combine for 2. 3 versus 3. Samlin slowly peeking in with this Odin. But right now, East Kentwood, they are trapped like fish. Pooley, Jaden, both going back and back again after over to the Phantom. Last one standing. Gets the clutch yet again for the team. New Albany just continue to find rounds.
And it feels like whenever New Albany are struggling a little bit, let's take that flash drive that came in. It was fantastic. Everything worked beautifully. It was actually a blindside, but everybody was blind. Nobody could see a darn thing, and it still didn't matter. Able to get back behind cover fast enough, and of course, the 1v1 there at the end. There's somebody you want into that position. It's definitely out there who's been consistently delivering on this duelist role. And at what point do you start to ask the question, are East Kentwood in trouble? Can they pull this back? And at the moment, it sure doesn't seem like there's any foot coming off the gas pedal.
I mean, Marty was saying, Vincent, you know, whoever comes out of here could potentially be a favorite throughout the rest of these best of ones, and I'm liking what we're seeing here out of New Albany as East Kentwood looking to shake things up yet again with the full take through market. Zarkanich gonna find a kill into the spawn. That's Ether going down. No need now to worry about this operator, but Crossfire set up with Bubs the Viking. Cyber Cage is used to block this vision, and Samlin the next to fall. So both pillars at B go down, and this spike should be here.
This is one of the best looking rounds that we've seen from East Kentwood.
Spike planted.
Having so much to work with. Now, from the shadows, that could be giving some information. Never mind, nothing to be given. Som holding back on that flank. Sure, he's traded, but it doesn't seem to matter.
Oh, Bubs the Viking quick. Head on a swivel. 4 players to worry about. Low HP on a few of them. Bob said doesn't even have the time of day. Jaden gonna win his one, and then Zarkanich with a 3K in the round finally stops the bleeding that New Albany has just continued to press.
All it takes is one round, Seymour. All it takes is that first chance to get back into position and to start building some momentum right back into the game. And that's exactly what we just saw East Kentwood do. Sure, it took them a little bit of time to get there, but think about the best case scenario. An 8-4 scoreline, not a bad one whatsoever. With that being said, we're going to see early utility and Pooley set up once again with this. Paranoia has been a deadly force over at A.
Everybody's grouped up. Clone first one out, and that's going to give away a little bit of a presence. And immediately you see the hesitation coming out from East Kentwood. Rightfully so. I mean, there's 4 players stacked here. But now they're going to be rotating into the possibility of this operator. And they have to be thinking about that. I need to see this angle get smoked.
Yeah, I think more than likely we will. But the question is, if they're just going to walk forward, this op can still have so much impact.
Try peek again, but this time it pays off. Jade is going to find it immediately, the neural theft. But Modi, as well as the fragment and the phantom, combines for 2. Flashback out to take the space into tree. Modi with 3, not expecting the re-clear by Silent. 3 versus 2, but Poli goes down, and suddenly this is an even 2-on-2.
Cutting it down and putting that plant down as well. So important. Now that From the Shadows can be used early, or the Paranoia, for example, the Viking is too quick to it. The 1v1 required.
The 8 HP has some Shrouded Steps as well as a dark cover. Gonna throw one way on this. And the fake on the Shrouded Step. Bubs of Viking. The turret gives it away. What a play coming out from Bubs of Viking, using every ounce of utility to keep ahead of the game.
And I would have really preferred to see Heron use the From the Shadows to gather the information. Obviously, smoke down on the spike. Don't know for sure if this is a committed defuse or, you know, they're out wide. Whatever the case, have to make a commitment of some kind. Wanted to see the ultimate instead of making that swing, because it gives Bubs the Viking the chance to just hit the shot, which he does. Fantastic work, by the way. But it gives back that momentum.
You gotta talk about Madi, though, inside of that round. Those 3 kills, absolutely influential to that round win. You know, kind of just playing on a dime there with the fragment mixed in with the kills out of the Phantom. Flashes back in to reclaim that space. Those 3 kills coming out from Madi kind of give Bubs of Viking that chance.
Yeah.
So, big plays coming out. Yeah, big plays coming out from these new Albany players. A lot of individual highlight plays coming out, and right over the top, Zarkranage gonna hit this site. Salmon, before going down, does find one.
Bomb grenade out.
Take out, not going to be hit, not at all. And even before the spike can go down, everybody's falling.
Enemy remaining.
From the Shadows from Pooley. TPs into Boathouse. Some, the Dimensional Drift has to head back in towards Garage. Now they know. 1v3, 1v1. Couple of 1-taps, and Som makes this possible. Past the gate crash. As well as these decoys. Flashes off the decoy back to himself. I don't think that was intentional, but Pooley's going to fall off the angle. 50 seconds. Som grabs the spike and gets away.
He's bought some time, some space, and plenty for the spike to go down. That is for sure. Already, though, answer back. Just watching and waiting. The understanding from Pooley that, hey, this is definitely going to be heading towards A, and now with the audio cue, it's a certainty. Just one blindside left in the back pocket for Som.
Don't think there's a Paranoia. No, there's not. No dark cover as well. Just one Shrouded Step. Pooley gonna have to wait about 13 seconds to get that Shrouded cover up and ready to go, but the drop, Som knows. Blindside at the ready, sticking to the guns. The lineup is there. Som with the clutch this time. For East Kentwood to end the half on 3. But this is where their job only gets more difficult.
1v3 to pick up the third. What a play from Som. I mean, we talked about whether or not this Yoru was going to have the impact, and I think probably debatable whether we've seen the best of it in that first half, but in the 1vx situations, it was enough.
Yes.
And it gives them some space to work with. You've heard of the 9-3 curse. Will it be in play today?
It's hard to say. I mean, when kind of leading in towards this game, we did put a little bit of stress on, you know, this Euro pick, but I don't think, you look at the scoreline and you can put this all onto the Euro. It's going to have to be a collective effort
Oh, yeah.
from East Kentwood to step up on not just one instance, but multiple different instances individually.
Multiple ways to find some aggressive maneuvering with this type of composition, though. Not seeing it in the pistol round. It's 3-2 split. 2 out towards mid for the moment for New Albany. And they're indeed clearing the wine angle.
Sandlin's going to spot the tripwires. Shockdart's going to get rid of it, but immediately the cage goes up, and now pressure out from Detree. It looks like they're just going to walk right through this. Athor is going to be the first one out. It's a full collapse out of these 5 members. Jaden hiding in the cage of his own, and reinforcements are here as well. Jaden, Zarkranich, 3 kills both ways, but now all of a sudden, Jaden is brought down. 3 versus 2. Athor looks like Bully's trying to make a play, but the wall bang lands. 1 versus 2. Ghost is the best weapon for this situation. The spike has been recovered, but for Silent and Heron, can they be separated? They are, and Athor! Round 1, 4K. Second half, 4K. The pistols are just so good in the hands of this Jet.
Sometimes you do the right things and it just doesn't matter. They double swung. They checked all the boxes, Seymour. That was supposed to be the right play, but Ether just dominating today. 20-8 and continuously putting the squad on his back, making this look simple when it is not. 1v3 there, showing some, hey, I can do what you can do.
20 kills is incredible. Ether, no hesitation here, no fear. Inside this Jets playstyle, immediately going to close the door to Market. Steal the flash out for Som, blinded and out in the open. Ether finds the kill into Silent. Only one player to worry about. It's Heron all the way in Boathouse, but Pooley with the easy cleanup and the spikes going down.
Simple enough. Post plant activated. Not that there's a lot to work with in this retake. There's still the fake out available, I guess, but what more could you really ask for in a post plant? All 5 just set up on this site.
Clone's going to give away the setup, but there's just so many members to worry about. Athor's not going to let Jaden pick up that Spectre, and only 1 kill to hopefully keep things a little bit on edge for this team. But right now, New Albany, they're flying high, Vincent.
They really are, and how could they be stopped? The answer is this round, bonus as it is, still incredibly dangerous because, well, we're just 1 round away from map point, from game point especially. And so with that, let's see what East Kent would have to offer. They have the better of the weaponry, to be fair. Set it up as they're going to get aggressive, just walking forward. Another Jet put up in catwalk, but it's a B hit once again, Seymour.
Silent just can't get away with that. Bubs the Viking going to be caught on the cross, and that's a fantastic start for East Kentwood. A little bit of a wrench in the idea, I'm sure, for New Albany.
I love how they've just they're chilled out. They're just waiting, watching, hoping that somebody's going to walk into their crosshair. And to be fair, that could have been the case. Though with the TP, you're getting away just fine. Som will live another day.
Oh, Som's got to be careful here. You can start to see this Euro get a little bit antsy, and with no information on the map, no information being gained over towards A, they have no idea. That Recon Dart's going to give somewhat of an idea, and immediately Som's drawing his way back. So luckily, Silence is kind of giving his team a chance here.
I mean, just 1 player confirmed there, though, and the response is so very aggressive. Part of that is because this Jet has the cutoff through mid. There's no way to get back into that position. But here we go. Dart covers out, and it's time to go back B.
Smokes out. Heron blocked off. Ether trades. The Spectre should be able to recover a rifle here. Door's going down. Heron's going to break it, but this retake, a little bit troublesome. Pooley just walks on in. That is egregious. 3 versus 4 for the retake now, and post plant set in stone. Starkinish for the trade. Jaden doubles down. That front line being locked in place from this Jet. Only 1 remaining. Madi able to get one more. Silent will fall. Only 2 members remaining, but at least they hold on.
It's one of those situations where the weaponry just wasn't so effective at the range they were working from. But in the meantime, big praise for that take. The actual execute was fantastic. You saw the paranoia go out, the dark cover all at the same time, and then in addition to that, the fragment locking out from market anybody who wanted to try and make their way through that smoke. You saw in the, I think it was the second round, where there was an attempt for Som to blindside out of that smoke, and it found some success. No chance to do that there because of the adjustments made. It just didn't work in the post plant, and a important round for East Kentwood to get confirmation on. Three, mostly set towards A for the time being. And, well, first contact made, so Carnage goes down, and sure, 1 for 1. Isn't too bad for the defensive side, but let's say the attacker's loving it.
Cover going out.
And Trey's just back and forth. A shrouded stab, maybe for a fake of information. Audio cue misinterpreted. Everybody's going to hold their spot. 3 versus 3. Jaden on a little bit of an island here, but really, my eyes are going to be on this battle through mid. Pooley is still hiding away and should be able to net himself a free kill. He will at third. Going to find Jaden on site. And this is looking like the 12th round is soon on its way from the shadows out of Pooley, but it doesn't matter. Madi's going to put away the round with the kill by Psalm and finds match point here for New Albany.
And that's just basic attack maneuvering. You get 1-for-1 trades out mid twice in a row, and as fine as that sounds defensively, that means you're 3 players to cover a bunch of different areas, and that's a problem. Have to spread out, spread thin, and Jaden solo over at A. Great against a couple of players, but enough utility in his position fully found out. Lot to work for. This is a long road back to find victory on this 12-4 scoreline.
Spike down mid.
1-for-1 trades yet again to start this round, but you lose out on Psalm, and that has been your X factor so far throughout this ascent. Psalm has been the playmaker to keep things alive when you fear most. So what does this mean? You got the neural theft as well as the blade storm, but it's got to be a couple of free kills here for this neural theft just to be activated.
Yeah, I think Jaden needs to work on staying alive. Can't be overzealous, and that null command's going to entirely deny the possibility of a neural theft for the time being.
Spike down A.
Well, here we go. Jaden's going to find 2. Not going to be able to use that neural theft, and lovely and a Zachranish to take that.
I got the spike.
Take Madi out of this as well. They're going to fake the res. And no. Bringing Madi back, and they're just going to give this one up. Door goes down. Silent has the ping. 30 seconds left, and while this is happening, the flank is going to be here. Heron only finds
remaining.
one. Silent in the 1 versus 1. Madi to put this one away. Both baiting each other out. Nobody wanted to give it. Madi for the swing. 6 HP. 14 seconds. This is getting drawn out to the very end, but Silent's making the heads up play right now, and the shock dart. Silent almost giving it away, but the disengage secures it.
Gotta think about that 6th man. The clock sometimes means the most, and that's exactly what it was there for Silent. Intelligent on the shock dart as well, but disengaging, that was the real big brain maneuver. It's exactly what was required, and it keeps East Kentwood alive. This 5th seed Michigan team doing what they can to stay in business up against Ether on 27-10, by the way. An absurd stat line.
Get out of my way.
Right now, East Kentwood just throwing everything at New Albany, Vincent, just to stay alive. Lockdown.
Blade Storm, though. As soon as this gets activated, this B side is going to be a deadly place to be living.
Right, it is back. Ether has a route. Storm is trapped in the back, and finds the kill. That's an important one. That's going to stall things out now. Minute 7. Pooley will be able to trade it. And now to work back in, coming out
Planted.
from the likes of East Kentwood. Pooley's going to find this Karen Paranoia, buy some time to set up in this post plant. But with the rifles, all they need to do is trade it out. Time ticking away. East Kentwood with no look, but Zokranich feeding into this one. Pooley's looking the wrong way, and what a comeback here. 4 kills, flawlessly building their way back into the site.
East Kentwood, how many times are they going to pull this type of thing off? Yeah, there's no more space for errors, but they're going to play like that. This is what we've been missing. This is where we haven't quite seen Som, by the way. Such an incredible hold on the back of Boathouse. There's one place to stay alive on the B site from that lockdown. That's back Boathouse. That's exactly where he was located. And not only that, Ether expecting it, still can't get the frag, even with the Blade Storm in hand. Incredible work. And this sets up at least the start of the comeback, because a broken economy, though not fully dead, is lackluster to be sure.
Marshall's out for Samlin. Barely misses the mark. Look at the ultimates online here for East Kentwood, but losing out on Som, loses out on one of them.
This will be beautiful if East Kentwood can continue to bring this back, but losing an early player like Som, never a good story, particularly when Ether has so much space to work with. That's a great pinch. A site is theirs.
It is. Suddenly things kind of falling apart. Again, you're looking at one of these members to have a little bit of heroes, and here it is. The trade's out. Bubs a Viking very low. 3 kills and a Zokranich, and maybe it's his time to shine. 19 and 15, looking for number 20, 12 HP on Bubsa. Won't be 20 for the Jet, but Silent continues to press on for East Kentwood. They are not giving up, Vincent. They are holding on to the very end.
Just looking, up and down this roster for East Kentwood and paying attention to what the difference maker has been consistently. It's fantastic to see Zokarnage just starting to really put this team on his back. And I mean, I'm saying that not even necessarily required to do all of the heavy lifting. This has been a team effort, don't get me wrong, but some of the explosiveness that we've been seeing out of East Kentwood is entirely the difference maker and why they've been able to pull this back to within 5 rounds.
Ops out for Zokranich this time. We saw how oppressive Ether could be. Will we see the same impact coming out from Zokranich? Falls off the angle, and that's going to give up a little bit of space here to mid. The workup from Catwalk, but doesn't seem like Carnage wants to really lose this, but Heron's going to give his life up. Oh. And that is a trade that you definitely needed to see. Jaden now alone. The inside will not be able to find another kill. Down to a 4v3.
Blade Storm, Dimensional Drift. It's all being put into position already.
One enemy remaining.
But it's all down to Som, and they're chasing this Dimensional Drift. Turrets out.
Okay.
Versus 2. Almost a 1v1, but Madi won't let it happen. Everything being tested here in the game from East Kentwood. New Albany push a little bit farther than maybe expected, Vincent, but the outcome is going to be New Albany heading to the semifinals.
Yeah, and I mean, from the start, we saw consistency there from Ether. That guy, 28 and 13 at the very beginning of, or at the end rather, of this game. 7 first bloods, and that is a stat line that just cannot be stopped. I think that if you looked across, I mean, Ether probably had the most, or had as many first bloods as the rest of the team combined, just consistently able to show on that duelist role what they had to offer. And overall, just a solid attack side put together there at the end of the day.
And I saw a lot of hope there from East Kentwood. You know, as we're saying goodbye to this team as it is single elimination, I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to them because the way that they fought back in the second half, a completely different team, Vincent, than what we saw in that first half on attack. I think, you know, you saw Carnage hitting up on that Jet and a little bit of a resurgence, 20-17. That is an amazing way to close out that game. Jaden even having a couple of important moments on that defense for the Cypher. I'm loving the way that Cypher has been, you know, brought back in towards the meta with these recent changes, and especially on Ascent, Jaden looks really comfortable for that defensive side. You know, Psalm had some pretty incredible moments. It's just kind of piecing together those individual moments as a team. We didn't really get to see that until later on, until it was maybe a little bit too late.
Yeah, I think if I had to put together the difference between this new Albany roster and what we saw from East Kentwood, the biggest factor for me in this game, outside of just, you know, individually having some really big performances, the way that we saw New Albany layering utility, you know, putting together, for example, just a paranoia and something else to make life difficult for East Kentwood, or taking that space out towards A main early, being in wine all the time. That was the biggest difference. And that's something that this Ohio team, New Albany, really looked great at, and I can't wait to see more of what they have to offer.
No, neither can I, but a little bit of an update to go forward. We have what is coming up next for our semifinals, Vincent. It looks like Indiana has pushed through. Carmel is now going to be in our semifinals to face New Albany out of Ohio, and in our semifinals number 2, it is Evanston beating out on Owasso 13-11 to move on to that semifinal 2. Still waiting on the update from the Indy Knights as well as South Sioux City. So don't know exactly what is coming out from that 2nd seed versus the 7th seed. Maybe a little bit longer than some might have anticipated with the 2nd seed versus the 7th seed.
Indeed, yeah, and that just goes to show you, when you cross state lines, things they get a little crazy, they get a little insane, and we're here for it all evening long. But we're only here, by the way, because of League OS for powering this national competition. If you're interested in getting involved over there with their college portal that we just got done talking about, you can head over to leagueos.gg to get set up and working with that. Make sure to do so. I was just talking with a bunch of collegiate guys at the event I was working last weekend about how it's so difficult to recruit because there's not a tool out there. Well, now there is. Definitely check it out.
Definitely check it out for sure. Well, folks, we're going to get ready for our semifinal number 1 coming up very, very soon. A quick little break, but we will see you on the other side with more of these Scholastic Champs.